Hey there, friendlies, how's up? I'm out in the woods still, got a little fire going. It's still catching really. Those are new logs, so that's why it's smoking so much right now, but it'll tone down. So I brought 2 whiskeys on this trip. I didn't have time to do a whole bunch of research on either of them, either for the last video I did or this video I did, so I'm not really bringing much knowledge, but I just grabbed 2 on the way out to the car on our way here, so sorry about that. I'm not dropping the knowledge on you guys. So this time what I got is anCnoc Peatheart. That's from anCnoc Distillery. I believe this is also owned by Interbev. And I'm looking forward to getting into it. I have never ever had an anCnoc at all before. I know it's Highland single malt. It is non-chill filtered and no caramel coloring, I believe. anCnoc, Highland single malt, non-chill filtered and natural color. Boom, right there on the can, on the tin, where it should be, right? What do we got inside the box? We have a very pretty bottle. Paper label, it's peeling off the back because this is probably a Quebecois. A label for Quebec put on top of it. I see no reason to continue tearing at it. What else do we have in here? Oh, okay. In Quebec, they will often put in the French version of whatever's on the back of the tin, if they're not reprinting the tin just for Canada. Nice looking bottle. Now, I have said, and I still maintain, that bottles that are all opaque, yeah, that's straight up opaque. Bottles that are opaque should have a transparent stripe or something right down the back, down one of the sides, doesn't matter, so that you can look at the bottle and say, okay, I'm there. If I love this, I should buy another bottle. I love the look. It's a great presentation, but it's more marketing than useful. So that's one knock against our anCnoc. That's a dad joke. That is not funny, Jesse. See, maybe I should be scripting these out before turning the camera on. I cannot see it. There we go. Oh, big pile of snow on my lap. That's all right. That's fine. That's great. Let's get this baby open. So, oh, did you hear that? Wait, let me do that again. It's not as good the second time. Never is. As I said in my previous video, if these go out in order, I shattered my Glencairn on the way, so this is me just dealing with what I got. Wow, that is pale. Look at that. Huh. What do we got here? This is 40 parts per million of peat, which they call a heavily peated. So I don't know, like, that's definitely not, Octomore territory, but that seems to be that's a respectable amount of peat. Only a 700 ml bottle. Oh well. Okay, so let's start off with the checklist. So the anCnoc Peatheart is a single malt, a Highland single malt. Boom, there's one. No chill filtering, no caramel coloring, no age statement, but 46% alcohol, so we're above the 45. So, oh, this, by the way, is batch 1. Wow, look at that. I mean, even with the sun going down and it's a cloudy day, you can see there is not a lot of amber to that. That's a straight up golden straw color. Okay. I recognize peat. Very different than I'm used to with like an Ardbeg or a Lafroig or something like that, but it's definitely there. There's a freshness to it. Coolness, which might be, I've said this before, I believe, that I'm not sure that the environment doesn't affect what I get off of these whiskeys. Like, if I did this inside, would I get a cool freshness? That's what I get here, sitting next to a fire in the great outdoors. Touch of sour, like a lemony sourness. As I said, I don't know anything about anCnoc, so I don't know if, like, what's a signature note that I'm picking up or not. I'm getting a little bit of caramel notes, a little vanilla, but it's not a punch of sweetness. It's not a punch of anything, actually. It's just very light, airy, some nice notes, doesn't grapple with you. It's sort of, it's more of a caress than a grapple. All right, let's go to the palate, as I say. Light, airy, the peat is there. Now there's an espresso note, which I often get with scotches, with most whiskeys actually, like a burnt coffee. The sweetness is there. I'm not sure if it's a caramel or a brown sugar. There's definitely vanilla. I'm not getting a lot of spice. This is a very light, airy, very, very pleasant. Nice. Hold on. They say this is heavily peated, and the peat's definitely there. But whereas the Ardbeg Wee Beastie is a growl, this is more of a purr. This is not what I would go to if I was looking for like a real high octane peated scotch. But this is what I would go to for many, many other contexts. I think this is very, very nice. It's very refined. Sometimes with a peated whiskey, you get a whole lot of muscle, a whole lot of punch, but not a whole lot of velvet glove. And this is very velvet glovey in comparison with a lot of the peated scotches I like. Like, I would have this over a Laphroaig 10 any day. I like Laphroaig 10. It's not the top of my peated scotches list, but it's sort of it's a classic for a good reason. But there's something kind of vaporous, kind of ephemeral about this that I find enchanting. Like, I'm almost finished. I'm gonna have to pour myself another one just to finish this review. Now I got a bit of a creme brulee, a little bit, sort of middle of the tongue to the back, with just a little crust of a burnt brown sugar. But I'm looking for fruits. I'm looking for, there's maybe a touch of pear, but there's no big orchard thing. There's no big berry thing. It's got a good mouthfeel. It's got a really nice finish. It's still going. The finish does sort of taper off so that what it leaves is, now there's a spice, a peppery finish. It doesn't hit at first, but is very present on the trailing end of the finish. The sweetness becomes softer. The peat kind of disappears and leaves with like a little cracked pepper. I'm gonna go to the nose again to see if anything changes. Nope, not much. What you get is what you get. Interesting. So you know what we're gonna do now, right? I'm gonna go light on the water since I'm kind of light on the scotch at this point. There we go. Okay. Not a big change. Not a big change. Sometimes adding the water brings out the claws. Sometimes it brings out the warm hug. It doesn't seem to have changed this much at all. Toned it down a little bit, but it was already pretty light. Now there's a lot more pepper on the palate though. A white pepper or a cracked pepper or something like that. The espresso's bigger. The pepper and the espresso are now bigger than the sweetness and even the peat. I prefer it without the water, as I often do, but it's not ruined. By the time I get to the shoulder pour, I'll know whether or not I'd buy it again. I'm not displeased with this whiskey though. I'm gonna call that a 7.75. I find that as I drink more and more whiskeys, my grading system is shifting a little bit. Like, I'm a little less ready to just hand out 8s. And that's partly because I kind of feel that I have to change to a 100 scale instead of a 10 scale, because a soft 8 versus a real powerful 8, not the same effect at all. So at some point this year I'm going to make a decision on that. But right now, on a 10 scale, that's a 7.75. the finish is still there. They did a good job with this. Okay, that's all she wrote. Thanks for hanging out with me for this little whiskey review. If you do like what I'm doing, then please do the following 3 things. 1, comment down below. What's your take on anCnoc? Is there one that I really need to try? I know they also do unpeated. Throw me some ideas. And if I like the anCnoc, is there another distillery that I should try? Second thing, please share this video. That helps me more than you could possibly imagine. And third, leave me a smiley thumb. If you don't like what I'm doing, that's all right. Leave me a frowny thumb. Thanks for watching, guys.